So to recreate the Egon Schiele portrait, I'm starting out with a coffee wash, so it's watered down instant coffee, and just putting a nice thin wash of that colour on just to create that aged canvas effect. So the body is a little bit jaundiced looking, so I'm starting off with some very watered down pale green. So it's sap green, just watered down. I've let that dry slightly, and then I'm just going to block in all of the darkest tones, so all of the blacks basically. So the black hair, the armpit hair, the nipples, and then a little black outline where I can see a black outline in the painting. So just blocking those things in first. And then we'll add the other browns and the other tones in as well. So just getting all of those darkest bits in. So you'll see that I'm working in layers. It's tempting quite often to start off with the black, and a lot of students do, but actually you're much better off painting your biggest, flattest, lightest areas first. So I always go in with the lightest colours, lightest tones first. So all I'm doing here is using the tip of the brush to draw in the lines that I can see in the original in the hair, trying to use the same movement, the same direction that the brush strokes are in the image to recreate the sense of that hair growing upwards and outwards. I've zoomed in now so you can see that I'm just trying to outline the black areas using again the tip of the brush and trying to be quite confident with the brush strokes. And then coming in with just a little bit of water on the brush, and where it's a little bit sort of murky or a bit grey, I'm just using the water to spread some of that watercolour out. Not too much, just the tiniest bit on the brush. And then using that same grey colour to outline the eyes and put the shading on the nose. Just using what's on my brush basically. Putting in any shadows I can see on the face. Zoom back out now. I'm just going to finish off outlining the hand and around the ear, and then we'll go in for some colour. So I started off with some brown paint watered down, and then I decided what I'd do is I would add some coffee. So the coffee that I used to coffee stain, and then I've started to actually paint a little bit with. So I've just gone in with the coffee here. You can see it's a slightly more yellow toned brown. So it's just layering up, and then obviously try not to drag the black paint, so trying to avoid touching those black lines as much as possible because I don't necessarily want them to run. And then just finishing off with some coffee on the body, just some layers of staining, and a little bit more around the eyes, and we're nearly done. So we need a bit of colour on the mouth. It's sort of a browny colour, so I've just mixed up some brown using orange and black, and then just going in with the last few bits of darker brown. We're near enough done. So this is the technique that I would use to recreate this image, and remember to go in with your lightest areas first, allow the bits you don't want to blend to dry, and then you can add any details and sharp lines on top. So here all I'm doing is taking some brown paint on the brush, getting some water and softening it out, and it's quite a messy look, but I think it works quite well for this painting. Okay, we're more or less there, just going to water that down slightly, and then we are done. And that's my finished attempt at the Egon Schiele portrait.